Hey, Zach, we're live on TikTok too. So.
All right, we're
just
live,
me.
huh? Hey, Zach Martin. This is Zach Martin here with the NonCustodials with my co-host Alicia, and today we are talking with one of my good friends, and I met him. I'm going to tell a story before we start talking, Tom. But I met Senator Tom Pischke in D.C. That's got to be 6 years ago now, probably.
I think so.
In the summertime. And I'm walking in a room, and I don't know hardly anybody. I know like two people, but barely. I've got their names, and I sit down by this big, lovable teddy bear dude, and I'm like, "Hey, I like this guy. He seems like a pretty cool dude." And we start chit chatting, introduce ourselves and stuff. And he is from the great state of South Dakota, and I was from Wyoming, and so I think we kind of hit it off. We had a good friendship from that moment, and then I moved to South Dakota, and so now I get to hang out with Tom more. So. With further ado, this is Senator Tom Pischke, and thank you, Tom, for coming on.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you for doing all that talking, Zach. I appreciate it.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna do the wait. We're non-custodial live. Welcome.
Yeah, we haven't made a real plan yet, and it just seems like it keeps going on, and we'll figure it out as we go, right? But
we are winging it.
We'll get an intro one day. But Tom, I think South Dakota's done some pretty good stuff, and you've done everything for South Dakota. I think we should be honest and give you all the credit because it's due to you. But what got you into wanting to be you're a senator now, but being a House rep where you were before?
Yeah, so I went through divorce in 2014, actually, which it seems 9 years ago now. Wow, I can't hardly believe it. But my kids were really young at the time, and went through a pretty nasty divorce and custody battle, and I got the short end of the stick in South Dakota custody court, and like so many other parents do, and probably people watching this can relate to. And I was sitting at work one day, actually about February 16th of 2016, and a coworker said to me, well, I said out loud, how am I ever going to change my situation? And a coworker said to me, why don't you run for the legislature? And that was literally the moment. That was the moment that I decided to go on the Secretary of State's website and figure out how to become a legislator. And that's what I did. And here we are.
Wow.
I'm, 8 years later, I've been in the legislature, the 6 in the House and 2 in the Senate now, for this purpose. And that's, in my view, this is God's calling for me. So I'm just living the dream.
Yeah, man.
When you say
you are, go ahead.
When you say you got the short end of the stick, can you elaborate on that?
Sure. Because before I got divorced, I was there for my kids, taking them to daycare, doing all the things that a normal parent does, right? And after I separated, I was basically relegated to a every other weekend visitor. And since my kids were so young, I was actually only 2 overnights a month visitor. But actually, there for a small period of time while the divorce was still pending, I didn't even get any overnights. I only got Saturday from about 9 to 7. Was my only time with the kids, and then we got some arrangement made with the courts, and then it was just 2 overnights a month. It was every other weekend, just Saturday at 9 a.m. until Sunday at 7, and that was it. So, reading them bedtime stories and tucking them into bed and having that relationship and creating that bond with my kids was really severely suffered. And not only for me, but for my kids. Here they have a loving, caring parent that wants to be there with them. And yeah, go ahead. And the courts took that away from them. And so I really found that to be unfair to them and unfair to me. And, I wanted to do something about it. And the more I got into this, the more I found I'm not alone. There's lots of other people that have been through this battle and have had similar experiences. And, I wanted to fix it for not only them, not only me, but for our kids. We have to stop this perpetuation that keeps going. So.
Yeah, no, thank you. And congratulations. I think it's really amazing that a lot of people talk about doing that kind of stuff, right? I'm going to change the laws, you know, and then,
Yeah.
and it takes a lot of work, right? Like it wasn't like you did it in
Yeah.
one day. And
yeah,
talk
I mean,
about that
I'm
persistence,
still
that
working
like
on it.
dedication to doing that. Yeah, still
Right.
working on it. There's
Yeah.
laws to be done, but
Yeah, you know, and you know, a few other states have passed the presumption law that we that we're really is the ultimate goal that we're trying to get is that when two parents walk into the courtroom that they're literally on equal grounds. You can provide evidence that moves the ball one way or another, but that's where I'm still working here in South Dakota. You know, Kentucky's passed something, handful of other states have something on the books, but it's still a slow movement. You know, when I first started this, no state really had anything, at least not the presumption. And it's a nationwide thing that's slowly coming, but it's a slow battle. And South Dakota is typically not a state that is at the first and foremost of front of making big changes, and so that's part of the problem I have in this legislature as well. So,
tell us about the what you've come up against in your experience with the legislature, and then what you've done to affect the change you've gotten done so far.
well, the people that oppose the law, or the law change, I should say, are typically the same ones every year. Okay, so it's the South Dakota Bar Association for the foremost. Even if they aren't lobbying against you out in the front, they're definitely working against you under the water, right? So they're doing that, and then the domestic abuse networks and those kind of lobbyists, they're definitely working against you too. They're thinking that they're telling all the legislators that, oh, you're going to put the kids in danger because you're going to go giving them to these abusive spouses and those kind of things. And so they throw as much mud at the wall as they can and see what sticks. And so they completely muddy the waters all the time and dilute the story that we're trying to tell. And that creates enough doubt with enough legislators that they ultimately end up killing the bill generally. So,
yeah. So with that resistance you've had and stuff, where did you find your success that you got with your bill? Or not your bill, but how did you get success in changing some laws and changing how much parenting time parents get here in South Dakota?
Yeah, so thank you. I forgot the second part of that question. So I have made some minor changes around the edges of things. I think I don't know about other states, but South Dakota has what's called the parenting guidelines, and I actually passed a bill, created a law a few years back that those parenting guidelines have to be reviewed and by members of the public and by a team of someone has to be a judge and someone has to be a lawyer, a few people from the public, a custodial parent, a non-custodial parent. And so I passed a bill that those have to be reviewed every 4 years. And so after I passed that law, then that group met, and I was actually nominated to be the non-custodial representative. Actually, it's someone from the House and someone from the Senate too. So I don't know. I was maybe the representative that got nominated to be on that board. And so we basically rewrit all of the guidelines that go reference in South Dakota law now. So a lot of times, there's so many different things and so many different variables that go into a custody case and all those kind of things that a lot of times they just have to reference the guidelines. If you have this situation, what does the guidelines say? Before you have a custody order written off by the court, what a lot of times it goes by what does the guidelines say? In this situation, based on the age of the kid, how far away the parents are from each other geographically, those type of things all go in the holiday schedule. All those things are written into the guidelines. And a lot of times in the past, those kind of things, some of those things were kind of vague. And so, I was part of that changed that law, that rewrote those guidelines. Let me get a drink of water here.
Get a drink of water, man. Yeah. I want to thank you for that. One of the things that has come out of that is that when I moved to South Dakota, instead of having to go through a custody battle again here in South Dakota for more parenting time, his mom just accepted the terms of what the guidelines were here in South Dakota. And so I got to have, above and beyond what my judge had given me, I got 4 extra days a month because of you passing that. So I personally want to thank you because it has made a
Yeah.
huge difference for me and my son. Like Monday mornings, and Wednesdays overnights, like to have 2 days a week that we get to go to school, and I get to wake him up in the morning, we got to brush our teeth together. Like you said, reading books. I mean, like my son and I laid in bed the other day and we read a Jocko Willink book, Way of the Warrior Kid. Have you ever read those books?
No, not that one.
Dude, it's a great book. It's a kid's book about like being disciplined and focused and commitment. All the good things that make you successful in life. And
Mm-hmm.
my son's sitting there and reading these books to me, and with only 1 or 2 nights a week, we wouldn't have gotten opportunities to have that much book reading in together. And then, and occasionally he wants to watch a movie, right? And if I'm trying to be a good dad, like, do I let him watch a movie the one day we have overnights every other week, or do I make him read with me? And now that we get so many, I can give him the reward of an overnight movie night, and
Right.
it can be fun. And I don't feel like I'm missing out on also getting to have that chance of like cuddling with my son and enjoying a good book, and learning a lesson at the same time that he's getting a great lesson in life. And so thank you. I really appreciate everything you've done. And I know it's made a huge difference for lots of dads here in South Dakota already.
Yeah.
And it's just going to get better. So when's the next time that this is up again?
Well, I do have the presumption bill drafted right now. It's in my quiver.
All right.
So the deadline for unlimited bill drop is actually tomorrow, about 11 o'clock Central Time. And then after that, we can introduce another 3. I've been really hemming and hawing if I'm going to do it this year. I know I talked to this audience. They're like, yeah, you got to do it. You got to do it. But you have to understand the makeup of the legislature, the makeup of the Senate. I tried running this bill last year, died in committee, and I just don't know if I want to do it again. I'm still prayerfully considering it, but we'll see. So,
yeah.
What are
the? It's the same people, right? The same people are on the committee that were there last year.
Yeah,
basically.
And see, that's the thing. The same people are on the committee. It's going to be basically the same vote, and therefore the same result. And so, do you go and do that just to get the same exact result? I do want to mention one other piece of legislation that I passed, if that's okay, if you have the time.
Yeah, always. Okay. Yeah.
Great.
As much time as you want to give, I'll be here tonight. So.
Okay. I do have an appointment at 8:45. I get to be somewhere, but that's quite a while. Anyway, so I think it was the year that we met out in DC, because I had talked about some bills that I'd passed. I passed a bill, I think it was 2018. Yeah. That talks about if, this is when your children are older. And let's say you have someone that a non-custodial has a child, and that child can drive, and they choose to go live with their non-custodial, right? And the language then says that if that child goes and lives with the non-custodial parent for, I want to say 90 days, 120 days, something like that. I can't remember exactly the days now. But if they go and live with the non-custodial parent 120 days, and there's no objection from the custodial parent within that time, it is therefore presumed to be a change in custody. And there automatically, if that happens, now that child is there changing custody and now living with the non-custodial parent, and that has dramatic effects. If you think about the child support system, now that changes the whole child support system on its head. And now that parent that was getting child support now has to pay the other way. So, and, it's just one of those things where, if that child's been, they're feeling the alienation or whatever, or, they have a better relationship, or they just want to live generally with dad, is generally a non-custodial, but not always. But if they just want to go live with their non-custodial parent, and things are better there, it's just happens automatically. So I had that bill, and I had a constituent that had that same exact situation, and he told me about it, and I brought that bill, and he forever loves me. Because it changed his life. He literally got to have custody of his oldest son for the last year of high school with him, because of that legislation that I passed. So if you want to talk about making a difference in people's lives, that was one where it changed lives. So
right. I might have missed it if you guys talked about it before, but it just basically constitutes a huge material change in circumstances, and so they'll switch it automatically, or
how it works is that if the child
so they get to choose, they can choose basically.
Well, here's the thing: in South Dakota and in a lot of states, when the child has a driver's license, it's hard, and they have access to a vehicle, because South Dakota, looks like Wyoming, a lot of rural places, right? And they have to, a lot of times they have to drive to get to school, they have to drive to get here, drive to get there. They were driving to get to their other parent's house, and they just decided that's where they wanted to live. And if the custodial parent doesn't object to it within so many days, it's just considered a change. And so that's what happened. And I mean, it's basically, almost, he talks about how it saved his relationship with his child, because he's able to have that child for the, his senior year of high school and really build on that. So,
yeah, that's a great time to really build a relationship too. Like, you're at the end of school and they make that choice to come stay with you. I mean, such an opportunity. And then if you can have some more money back, you can do more things with your kids and stuff then too. And you can actually really provide that experience that you want to give, where as a non-custodial parent, you're paying a lot more money to be able to be involved in your kids' lives.
Right.
And it's hard to do a lot of the other stuff. So extracurricular things that you would choose to normally want to do with your kids.
Absolutely.
So, oh man, that's awesome. So this year, you still got a few more days, but it's questionable, and definitely your reasoning makes sense. Other bills that you're working on for like parental rights and kids' rights in South Dakota currently, or in the future, that you'd like to do?
Well, I do have one other bill that I have ready to drop. I haven't dropped it yet. It talks about the days to qualify for shared parenting. This kind of varies from state to state, but in South Dakota, we actually have a law that says to qualify to be on a shared parenting plan or have shared parenting, you have to have the kids 180 overnights per year. And as you know, there's only 365 days in a year. So if you're going to have 180, that's darn near every day. And the problem is, what if one of the parents is in the guards? What if one, they have to spend 2 weeks away? Therefore, are you not going to be able to qualify for shared parenting because of your service to the nation and your service to the state? Or what if one parent has a job where they have to travel a little bit more? Are they not capable of having a shared parenting plan because they have to travel? And so those kind of things should not disqualify that child from having a shared parenting relationship with their parents. And so that's a bill that I'm probably going to be bringing too. I haven't dropped that one yet and gotten a number, but I'm strongly considering bringing that one. So
awesome. Yeah.
So when you say like shared parenting status, I guess you just mean when it comes to like child support calculation, or?
Well, it does affect child support too.
There's not necessarily a primary. It's just we agree to 50-50, or our order says this and I get this many overnights. And so it qualifies as shared parenting, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So the only way to have a shared parenting plan is that you have this 180 days, right? And so it does affect how child support is calculated. It does affect how what your plan is that you have moving forward.
Right.
So you can't even do that if you don't have the 180 days each. Right. And so it's just very restrictive. And so
it is. I think. Are you familiar with well, Zach, you might be, but the child support one that Wyoming did, remember, it was probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago now, where they changed that. Yeah, they changed the specific number. So instead of,
they lowered the number, so it's
right. So it used to say you qualify for the shared parenting child support computation if you had 40% overnights in a year, and then they passed a bill that said it changed it
28.
to 28%. Yeah. So it went from, I can't remember this specific number, but I think to 91, or maybe it was 111 or something like that. And that it made a huge difference. you had to fight them, the child support office, and obviously the state and your co-parent, to get them to change anything considering the change in the law. But it made a huge difference, because with that shared parenting computation, they actually consider the wages that you need to take care of yourself, and the wages that you would be giving to the other household. And so it changed the equation completely. So that's
so Alyssa, that's 100 or 111 days out of the year. That was just saying.
I can't read. I got to look now.
I thought it was like 92%. I thought it was 92 days or something like that.
It might be 92, something like that.
28%.
Yeah,
even with, sorry.
Just think of that's how much different South Dakota is. Right now we're at 180 days. That's 50% basically.
That's 50.
And,
yeah. So they changed it to.
You're talking about moving down to 28% or 91 days or something like that.
Yeah.
That's a big change.
My personal situation, I don't care. It's not that way anymore. I'll talk about it. But even though, so I technically only had, per the order, 2 weekends a month, alternating holidays, 6 weeks in the summer. Okay. And all the normal alternating holidays. It still came out over that day threshold that they had. And so my child support order, like I said, after I fought for it, and obviously I was constantly fighting just for more time all the time.
Right.
But it changed significantly. The computation kind of went upside down.
I think that's a huge thing. Non-custodial parents need support, right? You're getting just hammered on financially, and you could be getting 1 day less than that amount, and your total numbers are completely off.
Yeah, and I go ahead, Zach.
No, I was listening to you. Go for it.
I was just, I had a co-parent that sat in court during that modification hearing and was like, oh, well, now you're so many $100 richer and I'm that many $100 poorer. And it's like, this is not an exchange of wealth, bro. Just give them to me and I won't ask you for nothing.
Yeah.
Let's do 50-50 and then it's just 50-50. You support them when you have them. I'll support them when I have them, and everything's square. But this is not an exchange of wealth.
It'd be so easy if that was the way you could do it, right? Like if that was just a thing that most people did. But unfortunately, we have to have all these laws because people want to be nasty and use kids as weapons.
That's right.
And the laws are supportive of people being nasty and using kids as weapons right now. That's the really big problem. So,
and there are still people all over the state that have no idea. They have no idea. And the child support office and the state of Wyoming is not going to modify your order for you because the law changed.
That's right.
You have to call and be like, hello, like this is what it is now. You should change my stuff. It should be completely different because I have, ABC. But anyway, so that's cool.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. If everybody else is getting on board with that, it's great. It's great. Yeah.
What do you So what's the hang up for presenting that bill? You have done it in the past?
I don't know. I've talked about that bill. I might have ran that bill one time in the House. It's been a while though, and so I think I was thinking about that, and think that would be a good change and something I haven't tried in a while. So I was thinking about I'll probably do that here in the Senate and see how that goes. So
nice.
It'll be again a small change, kind of on the edges. It doesn't get to the heart of the issue, but it makes a change. So kind of what I've been successful at.
Right?
What?
Yeah, every little bit helps. It makes a big
for
difference
sure.
for these families and stuff. You know,
Yeah.
if you can get that, and the guy can save a couple $100, a couple $100 can make a difference between, you know, how they live their life and what they're
Yeah.
actually able to do. You know, I mean,
Right.
it could be paying your bills, maybe being able to buy a newer used car, you know, when you need one or something like that, because you have
Right.
a couple $100. It could make it, you know,
Right.
But
go out and have dinner one time.
It takes the incentive away. It takes the incentive away. If you can meet that threshold, right? It takes the
Right.
incentive away from the other parent and going, well, I can't give them more time because if I do
Right.
this or that, then it, you know, it completely changes everything. But if you, even if it's, I mean, we all want 50-50, but if you can get to that 35-40% mark, they're going to go, you know, I'm not making money off this person anymore. What's 5 more days a month?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Right.
it helps take the incentive away and using that other parent kind of just as a paycheck. In my
That's
opinion.
right.
Yeah.
It's
What do
so
you think?
it's so crazy to remember to talk to similar like-minded people on this issue because I haven't talked to anybody in a while that's like, oh, the kids are always used as weapons and pawns. It's like, yeah, I know, but it's fun to be back in the community.
I know, right? Yeah. I mean, when you're at, we were out last year. I hit the bar last year, and that lawyer came up to us and was like, you know, what we were talking about doesn't happen, and we were just making stuff up. Well, Vickers, you know what I'm talking about, the old lady.
Viking.
Viking, yes, yes. I mean, nice lady. You can tell she's like ran the state with the lawyers and stuff for 50 years, and they just do whatever she says. And
Mm-hmm.
She said that.
she's still like them. Oh
That
yeah,
doesn't happen.
Yeah.
that's happened. Yeah, it was
Yes.
entertaining. Down there
Totally.
was her doing. Oh yeah, you know, totally never happens. You've been here for 50 years as a lawyer and never heard of it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of lawyers out there, right? They're the ones that are out there fighting against this. What do you think about the bill that's being done, that was just done in Texas, the time taken, time returned bill? Are you familiar with that one?
I'm not. No. Please explain if you would.
Yeah. So basically, it's for, especially for those parents, when like somebody accuses you of something like, oh, he's being abusive to my kids, and I'm not gonna let him see him. And then it takes 9 months to get in there, right? And you lose that 9 months time, and you don't usually get it back. But the way it's done in Texas is that if the jurisdiction actually has it as a law and a statute, then they can then go after that parent for that parenting time. And so you go in there and you prove that you prove that you were innocent of the claims, right? And then the parent who lied then the judge then has to give you the parenting time back. And so you get your time, and you get the time that you lost.
You have to prove that they lied, though, right?
Well,
I think there's a preponderance of evidence, or clear and convincing. There's a threshold.
I think for that one, there's probably a clear and convincing standard, considering
or that the person has to prove clear and convincing that you actually are a perpetrator of the level that they are.
You're going to be charged with something criminal if that's actually the case, right?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're basically breaking a law. You're breaking a statute. So
yeah,
and you can't hold your kids from their parent. It seems like a good bill, and the people in Texas seem really excited about it. So I was wondering what your thoughts were. It's 2503, interference with custody. I'll get you a copy of it.
Yeah, I would have to take a look at the bill, but I have my worries that it may not be enforceable, because if you have to convince a judge by clear and convincing evidence that the person that brought these charges against you actually lied, that might be difficult to prove. Clear and convincing evidence is a pretty high threshold in the courts, and
it might be preponderance of the evidence.
It might be, but basically,
a threshold. Yeah,
there's a threshold, obviously, but
I'll get you a copy. I haven't actually read it yet either. I just wonder if you had to look at it. But basically the gist of it is that what happens is that if somebody says that they don't give you your kids, right? There's withholding your kids and not letting you see them, and you have an order and stuff, and they're just not following the order, then you can go there and you can take them to court, and because they haven't followed that order and they have no justification to not follow the order, whatever that level of proof is at that point in time, then the judge then gives you your time that you to get the kids and get your time back.
Yeah.
One of the things that I was thinking about doing, and I want to know what your thoughts were on it, especially with your experience with being in the House or in the Senate also, is that the idea of like having, oh my gosh, contempt of court proceedings being like dictated to judges. Like if you're in contempt of court for withholding your kids one time, it's a $500 fine. If you're in contempt of court a second time as a father or as a non-custodial parent, it's a $1,000 fine. The third time, it's an extra weekend, or you lose you lose a weekend with your kids, or you lose a couple weekends with your kids, and then there's higher penalties, and then you lose like you go to jail for a weekend or something like that. You start losing more and more rights because you're not giving your kids, as opposed to a judge getting sometimes judges give 5, 6, 7 opportunities to be in contempt before they actually like do anything more than a slap on the wrist. And a lot of guys quit before you get 6 or 7 opportunities, and they're giving away thousands of dollars to hold somebody in contempt and getting told that, if she does it again, come back in here and we'll talk about it some more.
Right. I actually tried a similar piece of legislation a few years ago in the House, and the way it would have worked was that if they were found to be in contempt of court, they were actually liable for the attorney fees, all of the attorney fees, right? So you hit them where it hurts, right, in the pocketbook, and you have to pay for.
Right.
I have to, if you're with you keep my kid away from me, and I have to take you back to court for contempt, you're gonna have to pay for my lawyer fees. I think I like the idea. I like the idea, but yeah, that failed. What's your opinion?
I was just gonna. We have those kind of laws in Wyoming.
Yeah.
And I feel like rarely ever here. I guess it depends on the situation, but I don't feel like judges go, yep, you brought him here for no reason, or you brought him here and they're really in contempt and now you have to pay their attorney fees. I don't think they do that very often. I don't know why, but it's left up to their discretion. And so if there was something in writing that they don't have that discretion anymore, then yeah, hell yeah.
That's right.
You see there'd be a benefit to that.
That's the way it is in South Dakota too. The judges have the discretion to do so. The problem is they never do it. And I believe it's in Iowa. Iowa actually does have this kind of thing, and they don't have this kind of problem as much because if you do have these contempt of court situations and you have to bring them back, they're liable for the attorney fees. And so,
and like it's no discretion. That's the law.
Right.
That's the rule. Wow.
That's right.
Well,
so,
cool. I mean,
so again, tried that, didn't pass, but here we are.
We're gonna try it again, right? So
someday.
I am passing the bar this time, and so I will be in your corner to do stuff. I'm not gonna just come to Pier and see you for dinner and that's it. Although this time we should go to Mad Mary's. So
okay, sounds good.
Yeah. I think Spencer owes me Mad Mary. So Spencer's watching today. Spencer, you can meet us there on February 21st, and we can all go to Mad Mary's together. And,
all right, Spencer,
Mad Mary's? Where's Mad Mary's?
Yeah, buddy.
What is this place?
It's special. It's a pier. So
it's a restaurant here in Pier.
Yeah.
Okay, what kind of restaurant? Hello, I just want to know.
Steak, burgers.
It's a steakhouse.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Mad Mary's.
Yeah, Mad Mary. It's really good too. Yeah, it's a good spot. So, anyways, Tom, I want to thank you for your time. I know you got to go here in a second, and I want to make sure you're not like rushing to wherever you're going next. But I want to thank you for the hard work that you've done. It's made a real big difference for parents here in South Dakota, and I think it's just setting more precedents around the states that this is the right thing to do, and that we're making the right changes. And you have been instrumental, if not the sole reason that things have been getting done here in South Dakota. And so my hat's off to you, my friend. I appreciate everything you've done, and just grateful to have you here and to be in your presence. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Zach. Oh, go ahead, Alicia. You can.
I was just going to say, I could repeat everything that Zach just said. And the only thing other than what he said is I want to apologize for having to step away. That's all.
Oh,
and
okay.
I really appreciate everything also. And I can't wait to talk to you again, because like he said, I mean, the moves you guys are making, we can follow through in other states. And so that's really great. Absolutely incredible. So,
well, thank you guys very much for your kind words. That's very kind of you. I appreciate what you guys are doing here, and making these videos and being more out in the public and getting more people involved. I mean, we need to be able to grow this community to make this a bigger deal. We need to stop perpetuating this issue generation to generation. This isn't the 1960s anymore. This isn't where one parent works and one parent stays at home and takes care of the kids. We live in a society now where both parents have careers, and both parents are responsible for the child rearing and taking care of their children and making sure they grow up to be fine, God-loving adults. And so it's a different society, and so we need to be able to change the laws to adapt to that type of society. And unfortunately, the laws aren't there yet. And so that's I'm really proud of the work you guys are doing. And I hope you keep it up. So,
yeah, thanks, buddy, man. Yeah, congratulations on everything, and look forward to work with you soon. February 21st, I'll see you, Tom.
Okay, sounds good, Zach.
All right, have a good one.
Yeah, you too.
Bye-bye. All right, Alicia. So
we're staying on.
That was great, right? What do you think?
Yes, it was. It was awesome. I'm gonna have to rewatch it because I missed a few minutes. I suppose
we missed a little bit of stuff, not too much. I mean, having a kid and helping that family out is a really great thing. And we were just talking about.
I'm a nanny.
I know you're a great nanny. I'm sure. I mean, you're a mom times 6, so. If anybody has the experience and
now it's like times 10. It's times 10.
It is, right? You got 4 kids you're daddying now?
Yeah. But on a high note, some of them are at their dad's this entire week. So I'm dealing with wonderful, like-minded people. And so I think that's really wonderful.
Wonderful. That really is wonderful. Yeah, I'm happy for you. I think you're doing a really great job, and I really want to let you know that I appreciate all the time I've gotten to spend with you on this stuff. We're really making moves every week. There's something new coming out with us putting up thumbnails and doing all this stuff, and everything that's being done to keep growing this really is being done by Alicia and putting together. You are. What are you talking about? You're doing all the stuff, and so. This really means a lot to me to have such a good teammate, and she lets me talk way more than she does. I should probably have a timer on myself because I talk way too much. But
you need to, or else nothing would happen. It'd be quiet. It'd be crickets.
It would be quiet. But
what am I gonna say?
But I think we do a great job. I think it's just been a real pleasure, and looking forward to the next movie we have. I think we got some really good ones coming up here for the next month or so. Good plan, and then we've got a real good special guest coming the week after I take the bar exam, and so I'm looking forward to announce that one.
Do we get a preview? You can't preview it yet. You can't say who it is.
You know what? I probably could say who it is. It's the one and only Philly Slim. So.
Philly Slim. I would like to meet him someday.
Oh man, yeah,
I really would.
I love Philly.
No, I have never met him.
We should go to Denver together and be on. He's doing something very similar here soon, and we're working on some stuff Philly and I are doing.
But AFESP is doing an event in Philly upcoming. Also, I think late March.
In Philadelphia or in Denver?
In Philadelphia.
Ooh, late March, huh?
Ooh, should we plug it?
That sounds like we should plug it. Always plug it. Yeah.
Hold on, let me find it. I don't think he's picked the exact date yet. Maybe not.
That's okay. If it's during spring break, Mark, I might take my son out there. My son and I might come out to Philly. I'd love to go out there. I'd love to show him the Liberty Bell, the house that I lived in when I was going to college out there on Crabtree Lane. So
yeah, I went
to college out there. Some cheesesteaks and choose my son just the best cheesesteaks you can get. So the question is Geno's or Pat's, guys. That's what you want to know. I worked at a hoagie shop called Slack's Hoagies. Geno's or Pat's, yeah. And they're like across the street from each other. But one, I don't know which one it is, but one has Cheese Whiz and one has American cheese. That's the difference. What do you like? Cheese Whiz or American cheese?
I would never eat Cheese Whiz on a sandwich, ever.
Oh my gosh, really? You're gonna go there? Never ever?
Maybe on a chili cheese dog, but never on a
Okay.
sandwich. Like,
Okay.
nope. That's
Each
I
their own.
don't even think it's real cheese. I don't think we should be putting it in our body. Probably. I'm a
How you
weirdo.
gonna
It's
clog
like
your
Kraft
arteries and
singles.
die? How you
I
gonna
don't think
clog
it
your
even
arteries
does
then?
that. With regular fat and butter. That's what I prefer. Milk, butter, not plastic, not in here. I can't find anything on it, Zach. It's fine.
That's okay. We'll announce it here soon. It's coming. Mark
It's coming, so it's California.
I love Philly. I love Cali. I like to go East Coast, West Coast all the time. So I love both rappers.
What is Philly doing in Denver?
He lives in Denver. He's from Philadelphia, and he's skinny. That's why he's called Philly Slim.
I know, I get that. What is he doing in Denver?
He owns a smoke shop called Synergy Shops too. On 92nd Avenue, right there off the Torrington Parkway.
Okay,
right. He works real close, just right where Waterworld's at. He's like right around the corner from Waterworld. So
I know, but is he doing an event?
No, he's just being Philly. Oh, he's going to be starting the Philly Slim show. So,
okay.
And it's gonna be epic. Yeah.
I thought you were saying like he was doing an event, so we're all gonna. We have
a couple of videos working on, and he's getting ready to release a new album. So he's working on his new album, and he's getting ready to release that, and he's got a couple of things coming up. So he's gonna come out and talk about what he's been doing down there. And he's been in the movement for like 15, 17 years, something like that. I think. A long time, man, and a lot of experience going through alienation and going to jail because of it. And then just a bunch of guys that he knows, being involved with Yaya and Brian Lee since the beginning of time. All these activists have been. Yaya McLean, he's an actor, a friend of mine.
No, I know.
Yaya McLean, he's a dad who went through stuff. He was a world champion heavyweight boxer, I think, and I mean, he got to be. He makes me look like a little dude, and a really great guy, man. And one of my stories about meeting him was sitting with him in Philly and stuff. And those guys have been going through it for a while. I've been experiencing a lot of this stuff, and he was just sitting there and telling me a story about. We were in DC, and he was telling me a story about how. His boy lives there in town, and he couldn't see his boy because it wasn't on his time, and how mean the mom was to him and stuff, and his boy wanted to see him, and it's one of those powerless moments,
right?
Talking to him, and we've all been there in this moment, in this movement, where we're like, man, I have absolutely no say so in what goes on with my kid or my relationship with my kid. And to be there with him in that moment, and knowing that he wanted it so bad, and that there was absolutely zero he could do to help his son to get to spend that time with him and stuff. So, really great guy, man, and he's been really moving up. So we talked real estate when we first met, because I was a realtor and owned a real estate company. So we talked a lot of real estate shop, and then he's been moving into acting now. He's like. He's in like I don't know. He might be in a half dozen or dozen movies. I don't know. But he was in Creed 3, and it had a feature part in Creed 3. So
wow, I didn't even know that.
He's an amazing guy, and I think we should get him on the show too. He's a character, man. It's somebody that I think that. Well, now you know. So watch Creed 3.
Maybe in April.
He's the bearded dude. He's a trainer.
I know who he is. I was saying other people might not know who he is. But I didn't know he was in Creed 3 either. That's pretty cool.
Creed 3, yeah, he was. Yeah, super cool. So I'm excited about it. So, anyways, what do you got going on this week? You got something fun planned for your week? You're building these. What are you working on right now? Tell us about your project you got. You sent me a snap, and it was pretty fantastic.
My snap. I am working on Trying to become a recording engineer. So it's a lot of fun. You know, mixing music, stuff like that. And I mean, music is kind of it's my whole soul. It's probably gotten me through my life. Honestly, it's kind of weird, but anyway, I love it. I got a good ear, and it's just, it makes me happy. It makes me very happy. And so I'm learning how to produce music. That's what I'm doing.
That is so awesome.
The
music was
pretty
fantastic.
great.
Do you want my Rodecaster Pro? Yeah. I was loving what you sent to me and stuff. And just so good, that person. And you want the Rodecaster? When I see you next time, I'm giving you this Rodecaster Pro too.
You might just have to mail it, because we should start using it. It would be really cool.
Yes, we should. It'd be really cool. So
that's my project.
That way in you know what? My parents will be driving by that way, and maybe I can give it to you on Sunday or Monday in Douglas. Sunday, and would you drive to Douglas for it? We'll talk about it.
Drive an hour away for a little DAW. Yes, I would.
No, a Rodecaster Pro 2.
I know, but it's called a DAW. That's what it's called, Zach. DAW. That's basically what it is.
DAW. I don't even know what that is. I'll have to look that up. So, okay. But so I think that for me this week is about bar prepping and spending time with my son and my parents for his birthday. So my son turned 7 years old on Sunday. So
wow.
My parents are coming up Friday night. We're gonna go to Sturgis, where he has a wrestling tournament on Saturday, and we're gonna spearfish, and we're gonna wrestle on Saturday. Stay the night Saturday night. Do some swimming, maybe go see a movie, chill out. My girlfriend and her son are coming up, and then we're going to stay there Sunday, and we come back for another kid's birthday party on Sunday. On his actual birthday, we're going to celebrate another kid's birthday, and then go have Fiji hibachi grill. Because what kid does not freaking love hibachi grill?
That's the best.
I love it.
It's the best thing.
I love freaking hibachi grill.
I do too. We have a what's it called? Shogun. That's all we have here. It's called Shogun. It's like a Japanese steakhouse, but that's what they do here. And that's our jam here in Casper. That's what we do, especially on
that's awesome
special occasions. So that's good. That's good, man. What are you doing on your phone?
Respond to a text. So.
Okay.
So anyways, it was a great time with you tonight, Alicia. I wish you a wonderful week. Enjoy those kids.
I wish you a wonderful week.
I'm gonna have it. I'm gonna have it all. My son and I are gonna spend some great time together, and I'll be with my dad and my mom, and we're gonna just build that family bond and connect. And I'm gonna do, before I see you again, I will do
5,000 questions
more. I'm going to do 400 or more questions in the next week. I did get a 73 today, and I think I told you that, but a 73 on correct sounds like a C, right? That sounds like a C, but that is good enough, I think, to be a lawyer in almost every state, if not every single state in the country. So I think a 63 is like what you need to get to be a lawyer. So today was a good day, and I feel really happy with my results. I'm looking forward to stepping it up. I'm going to get a freaking 80 here pretty soon. You ready for that 80? I'm gonna get me
like a 95. 95.
I'm gonna get me an 80 before next week, where I'm doing 100 burpees.
Are you clapping?
I get myself pumped up. I'm gonna get an 80. I will get an 80 for next week, and I will post my 80 on live before next week. And if I do not get an 80 before our call next week, I will do 100 burpees on live.
On the live, right there in that room.
And right there.
So we'll just all be able to sit here and watch you. Nice.
You can watch me do 100 burpees, and I will do them as fast as I can. Man,
what does it have to be to pass again? What's passing? 63?
63, but I want to get an 80.
Everybody better remember what he's saying, because I will forget. I'll rewatch
80,
this.
And I'll post it. Before next week, I will get an 80. And if I do not get an 80 on a test before next week, then I will do 100 burpees on a quiz. And it won't be a 5-question quiz or something like that. It will be a legit quiz. Like most of my quizzes are like 34 questions because that is an hour of work, or 100 questions or 64 questions. So it'll be 34, 64, or 100, and I'll get an 80% or greater on at least one or more. So thanks, John. But I'm gonna get it, and I will do 100 burpees if I don't make it. That's a risk.
Don't let me forget.
That risk is a little bit shaky. I'm gonna be honest with you, because it's also, I mean, I get benefit from it, right? So it's not totally a risk, but also 100 burpees on live video. I don't think I can do 100 burpees straight without stopping, and so it's gonna be freaking. It's gonna be good. John heard me, so now it's legit. So
great.
I'm definitely gonna do it, man. I'm excited about it. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna get the 80%, and then I'm not doing any burpees. So.
That's the point. It's not gonna matter because you're gonna pass. You're gonna get 80%, and we won't have to watch you.
I'm gonna get an 80% on a quiz, and I'll post it to you. So, and I'm a man of my word. Scout's honor. Is that even the right way? All right. Alicia, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna go see my girlfriend and have a drink.
All right. Peace out.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.